Ladies and gentlemen, as you just heard, this is a party, and we have the one and only Phoenix Kid. How are you doing, sir?
I'm good, man. How are you?
Pretty damn good. Now, you've already got the fans riled up for some controversy.
Man, if you haven't listened to my interviews by now, they go one of two ways. They're really tame, or they really just start pissing people off.
So let's start with something I know will probably piss a few people off, or at least one of them. Your immediate reaction to American Giant.
Fuck that guy. I wish I would get booked on the show with him. I'd slap the shit out of him on principle.
So, you know, most of that subject right there, if the fans didn't know, that came from the Shoot Style Baby tournament for IWA Deep South. It was also Lethal Leap Year. It was a double show. So, you know, you could also look up on MDK's group his interviews where he basically said that all deathmatch workers were basically backyarders, and, you know, it went from there. So, you know, obviously you wasn't a fan of those comments.
Right. And my whole thing is, I remember the first interview, and I just remember, like, I wasn't even that interested. It just kind of happened. I ended up watching it for whatever reason. It might have been right after the whole incident where I went on a tirade on Akira and a couple other people. But I ended up watching it, and I'm just like, what the hell is going on right now? And as he's starting to say these things, I'm chiming in. Fucking Gary from Indiana, promoter for AWR, is chiming in. Akira's chiming in, and there's so many people just starting to go in on this guy, and I was getting hot. So I'm going in hard. Eventually, I get hit up, and they're like, "Oh, well, you should come on the show with him." And I know what they're trying to do. They're trying to pop a rate. But I'm like, whatever. And I called them on. I'm like, I know what you guys are doing, but I'll play this game. And I went on the show, and I talked him out. And he tried to backpedal on it. I think I've been on there like twice with him, and it just got stupid.
Yeah. Like, you know, I know why I was invested into his commentary, I believe, before the first one, was because he was on the show for, you know, Deep South. So I tuned in to, you know, see what the publicity was going to be for us on that one. And like you said, it kind of turned, the first one even turned into a pretty debacle, to say the least.
Right.
Now, you brought up the Akira situation. What is has your opinion deferred or changed any so far on the Akira?
So this is what's gonna really piss people off. But it is. And I think a lot of that interview got misinterpreted, for lack of a better term. Do I feel the same way towards Akira? Yeah, I feel the same way. But I mean, I'm not knocking the guy. I'm not saying the dude doesn't have talent and that he can't go. I'm just saying that he strategically placed himself in situations to get in a great spot. And it's working. No, whatever. It is what it is. It's working. He's getting paid. Good on him. He's getting seen.
So let's back up multiple years here. What got you wanting to wrestle? Like, as a kid, what was your first match? What did you see that when you watched it on TV you were like, I want to do this?
So I've watched wrestling my entire life. Really my entire life. Not the cliche way of saying it my whole life. I don't know when I started watching wrestling. I literally don't know when I started watching. Like anybody in my family will probably say that they might have watched. But for me, my memory dates back like SummerSlam '94. I'm sure I was watching wrestling way before that, but for whatever reason, that show it was sticks out. You got the Taker versus Taker, you got Michaels, Razor 2, and the last match outside. That's like my first I do it. Like, I always wanted to do it. Everything else has been like a secondary plan just to get to wrestling.
Yeah, it kind of cut out there. I knew you said SummerSlam '94, Taker versus Taker. Definitely remember that one.
Right.
You know, it was. And I remember I was young at that point too. I was only roughly 11, 12, but I definitely remember Taker and Taker. That was a wild one out in the. There was something like the Old West or something is how they described that one, right?
Right. It's all weird. It's all weird now. I think I just watched a review on that, or some YouTuber reviewing that a couple weeks ago or something. And I'm just like, it's all really weird. Like, why was I in this?
Yeah, like I swear the first match I remember as a kid was Randy Savage at Madison Square Garden in a cage match, but I cannot tell you who it was against. I just remember it was Randy Savage in a cage.
Oh, was this like Intercontinental Champion Randy Savage or
You know,
WWF Champion?
I think it was. I honestly think it was before that because I think it was before his feud with. I think it was before the Mega Powers ever happened. So that was before WrestleMania 5.
Bro, yeah. Ooh, that's fun.
And it was old. I mean, it was old, but I swear that's like the first thing that I remember as wrestling was that match for some reason. That's that. When you say first wrestling match, I say Randy Savage in the cage at Madison Square Garden, but have no clue who he wrestled.
Right? It's just, but that's still cool. Like, you know it was a cage match, you know it was Randy Savage, so I mean, that says plenty right there.
But see, back in the day, when you said Madison Square Garden, it didn't matter if it was a WrestleMania or a SummerSlam. You know, when you were at the Garden, you know, that was big time, period.
Right? And for me, even, like, maybe because I'm looking through current eyes, but even for me, like, looking back at, like, the territories and stuff like that, I'm like, man, I would have really fit in somewhere like a WCCW or a Puerto Rico or maybe a Mid-South. Like, I'm just starting to watch Mid-South, and I'm kind of, like, on the fence, but I'm still, like, in the early 80s of it, so I'm kind of like, maybe not.
Now, I've got two questions that I want to rebound off of what you just said.
Okay.
Do you think if there were territories right now in indie wrestling, and especially in deathmatch wrestling, that you would see a lot more bigger deathmatch stars than there is right now?
That's a great question. Like, when people say there aren't territories, they're full of themselves. Like, and don't take it to the dig, just, indie wrestling has territories. It's just not, it's not like when we say territories and we're like, oh, well, you got Mid-South, you got AWA, and this, that, and the other. It's not like that, but there's territory.
Yeah.
Especially in the States. And this is coming from someone who's been to, like, three or four different regions now. And there's territory. We try to blow past it. But, I mean, you got your Pacific Northwest guys. You know, you got your Mid-South guys, or your Deep South guys, not the promotion, just in general. Georgia, Mississippi, all those kind of states. You got your Texas guys, you got your East Coast guys, your West Coast guys, and the West Coast breaks down even smaller than that if you really want to get into it. Yeah, there's territories, but I mean, even then, to follow up on the second part of it, do I think there'd be more stars and deathmatch stars in general? Yeah, maybe. If some of these territories were actually as good as they think they are. I mean, I've been some spots where it's like, oh, we think we're hot shit, and then you go somewhere else and you're not. You get exposed real quick.
Yeah.
Where you're from ain't as keen to where you're at.
Yeah.
You can't bring the same stuff from one spot to another and think it's gonna work all the time. Case in point with me, I had a real kick in the dick. Hopefully we can cut one here.
Yes, this is uncensored.
Okay, cool. But yeah, I had a real shocker when I was in the Pacific Northwest. Where did I go? I went to SoCal, and styles completely. I trying to wrestle a Southern style match with a fellow luchador, and it was not. But they liked when we were doing the lucha stuff. They liked when we were actually wrestling and taking up the pace and doing our thing. But when I'm working, you're doing the Southern, the old Memphis, I'm the tall trash fan, call you a hit, this, that, and the other. That doesn't fly on the West Coast. Mostly doesn't fly, and vice versa. I'm sure you go to one of these Southern states, you start bringing that American indie, SoCal, lucha indie style, people aren't gonna it's cool, but that's about it. You aren't gonna get a star doing that. Not in those days.
Yeah, because you know how it is. Definitely, like you go to these different places, you can be the top shit somewhere, and I don't know if you've ever had to experience this yet. This is going to be part of my second question, which is a problem. Is obviously you're African American, but you could be big somewhere and go somewhere that doesn't like your color, and you don't fit in, and you don't work well. Have you experienced that yet? And if you have, describe to me the effects that it has put on your career itself.
I haven't experienced it yet per se. Sometimes I question the deathmatch community. Is there really about it? But then at the same time, I'm like, you gotta remember there's not a handful of black guys doing this, and you're probably like the one. And AJ Gray just started, really kind of coming out doing this thing because of where he's at. I don't think had he been in ECW, he'd be doing it. I just don't. Not knocking him because he's good at what he's doing, but I don't think he would be doing it as much. But it's weird. I haven't had it where race kept coming to play too much. I'm worried about it, but I'm usually in places where it's pretty wide open as far as race, so it's not an issue yet.
Now I know, like, if you want to talk about it, this is up to you. The original Angel of Death issue that got brought up. Do you want to talk about that or no?
Absolutely, we can totally talk about it. Let's talk about it.
So originally we had you booked on the Angel of Death tournament, and I don't know if people got in your ear or what happened there. I'll let you you describe this to me, but I've said on a different broadcast somewhere, I had you picked to go to the finals and actually take the whole damn tournament. And then, obviously that was kept quiet. I don't even think I told you, obviously, but it was something that was probably kept personal to me. And I know I didn't tell Kevin about it because, I wanted to surprise Kevin with the winner that night because he left it up to me to pick the winner for the Angel of Death tournament. So, tell us that story.
Yeah, so just kind of backtrack a little bit on it. Me and you had talked about it. We hadn't met prior to this. We didn't know each other. Whatever the case. You announced the tournament. I hit you up and like, I'm begging to get in this thing. Like, it is what it is. I didn't care if I went out in the first round. I just wanted an opportunity to do something, and she was like, go. And you were about it. Everybody's like, everything's set. We're good to go. And I'm hyping it up. I'm promoting it. There were some people that got in my ear like, oh, well, you gotta watch Kevin, this, that, and the other. And then there were a couple people that were like, hey, Kevin's cool. People that I trusted were like, hey, Kevin's cool, he's always been cool with me, blah, blah, blah. But in the back of my head, I'm like, well, you're right, so, but it was just to be blunt about it. But, and I thought about it, and it wasn't like an overnight decision of like, hey, I'm like, fuck it, because I dropped really close to the tournament, actually. Which I felt bad about too. I'm like, I already agreed to this. We're knee deep in this. You're backing out. Man. This is a real big move. I hope you understand that situation. But it ended up after I thought about it, I'm just like, man, I can't take a chance on it. So I'm just gonna. That's a little too far, a little too backwoods for me to even attempt to try to take a chance on. So I was hits her up. It's like I can't do it. I didn't know about the winner. Would that change my mind? I don't know. We're in hindsight 2020 phase now, so I can't even really say how me a year ago would have reacted to it. Would it have been cool? Yeah, it was just dope. But here's what it is now. There's no hard feelings. Obviously, we're on this interview doing it. But for me, it was just like it was a rough decision to kind of do that. And I even brought it up vaguely on one of my MDK interviews. We talked about it briefly. And then Kevin hit me up when I kind of explained a little bit about how I felt about it. And Kevin hit me up. He kind of cleared the air. And for him to just come out of the blue and hit me up and be like, hey, man, what's what? I understand why you feel the way you feel, but this is what it is. I respect. So there's no ill feelings between me and Kevin. There's no real feelings between me and you that I know of. Just it kind of was one of those weird situations where it was like, okay, I'm gonna make a move that's gonna be best for me for business at the end of the day. And I'm glad I did because American Giant was on that show and I would have slapped the shit out of him.
Yeah, and trust me, yeah, there's no ill feelings between me and you. Like, when you told me that, I was just like, okay. I told Kevin that we just had to replace you, and, that was it. There was never no heat. There was not 1 ounce of heat between me and you at all. So, yeah, we're cool on that. Because, hell, like I told you just, a few weeks ago when we were talking about Carnage Cup, I told you I was going to put in a word for you with Kevin, and that's what I did. I sent him a message immediately for it.
Right. And I hit him up about it too. So we're still kind of, it's still up in the air.
Yeah.
If it happens and we go with it, and I'm gonna go to Carnage Cup and I'm gonna do what I want to do in Angel of Death, and I'm gonna fucking make something happen. Fuck it, it is what it is now.
Yeah. Right now, Carnage Cup is still up in the air. Like, the potential is there's going to be something else before Carnage Cup, so. Probably not this year. I'm going to go ahead and tell everybody that right now. Probably not this year, because we want to do something prior to it. So, I'm just going to say that up front right now. So, 2021 will definitely be Carnage Cup, not this year. But what we're going to put out this year, we're not saying nothing about it. That's being kept a damn secret. But, I'm just keeping you there in the loop and everybody else. Carnage Cup 2021.
Right. And that's the big thing, man. I feel like I owe it to you guys at the very least. If the opportunity arises, I know a lot of different guys are going to be trying to get into the Carnage Cup. That's going to be an interesting tournament, just in the sense that it's not going to be your same guys going at it, and that's what's going to make it fun.
And knowing that you said that right there, the same guys going at it, do you think that's what kills some hype from some of these other deathmatch tournaments? It's just like, if you pick the same 8 guys basically every year and maybe cycle 2 new people in, does that kill your show, honestly, when it's the same ones year after year?
See, it's a double-edged sword to me. Because on the one hand, you got your 8 or 9, 10 tops. Try to test the true guys. They're going to do their thing. They're going to bring you money in as a promoter.
Yeah.
They're going to bring you money in. You're going to spend money, but you're going to make that money back. Especially if you have an audience, you have a built-in crowd that likes deathmatch. Or a place that you're going to run and you're going to bring in a couple hundred fans or whatever it may be. But then, from another fan perspective, and I've heard people say it, I've heard people say it to me directly, and I've heard people say it in the groups. You got the same 8 guys. Deathmatch doesn't do great. Deathmatch wrestling doesn't do great at making new stars. It is what it is. What you got right now? You got maybe two guys that are like new guys that are really popping off right now. You got a couple guys that's been around for a while and they're finally getting seen, which is great. Or they're finally getting seen in a better light. But I mean, really, honestly, you got like 2, 3, and I'm not counting myself in this. So, maybe 3 guys that are relatively new, popping off, and I mean, like, one of them isn't even new. Cody, he's been around forever, he's been wrestling forever, but he's starting to get seen. You got Akira, who's been around for what 2 or 3 years now, and he's doing his thing. Alex Ocean, he's same deal, 2 or 3 years. He's getting out there doing his thing. But I mean, other than that, who's really new, or who's new-ish that's out now?
Yeah, I know. Yeah, like you said, the advertisement and the publicity for the younger stars really ain't there. Like, Cody McCauley, he's going to Prince of the Death whenever that is. I think it's in October or something. But
oh, did he get so that was a crazy situation, and not to cut you off, but that kind of reminded me, Prince of the Death. I don't know what the hell's going on with that right now.
I honestly don't. I just seen an advertisement for it where they announced 2 people, and Cody McCauley was one of them, which I was happy for because I just wrestled Cody, and he's a hell of a talent. And besides him bugging the shit out of me on Facebook and tagging me in random stuff, he's okay.
It was funny because when Prince of Death was originally announced, I was supposed to be involved in it, but then we go out. Cancels, whatever, pandemic, I get it. But then he announced it again, I hit him up, and nothing. So I'm just like, at this point, I'm just like, there's something soon, cool. I'm whatever. You're gonna do what you gotta do, man. If not, then I'm pulling for Cody to win.
Like, everybody knows me and Ian's situation. Like, I'm not an Ian person. You can probably watch every one of my videos, and I usually say something that, I don't trust Ian, and I won't ever work for him. And, that's whatever. That's just a personal thing. But he puts on hellacious shows. I'll give him that. King of the Death, to me, was 10 times better than TOS. So, yes, if you get a chance to work for Ian, it's a hell of an opportunity, and the publicity for your character and your career is probably pretty damn good. So, but, like you say, there is usually some shady deals and occurrences with dealing with him at the same time.
Right, and I've heard these stories, and I'm kind of, I'm more at the point where I'm just like, man, I'm going to work these places that I want to work, and if they want me, I'm gonna have fun with it, but I'm not really good. I mean, I get it. In wrestling, you damn near don't trust anybody. Hindsight 2020, from a business aspect, anyways. In the ring, that's a whole nother animal. From a business aspect, there's some degree of not trusting somebody, and that is what it is. But if the opportunity comes up, great. I'll take it and I'll make the best of it. If it doesn't, then I've got other stuff down the line that I'm not worried about. There's other stuff there.
So currently, what is like your home organization? Where do you wrestle at the most?
So I've never had a home organization since I left Alaska. I just don't. I am the true definition of a journeyman. Like wherever duty calls, I'll be there. I don't have a home promotion, but if I had to pick one place where I'm like the most comfortable in, I do a fair amount of work. That's in California, and that's Underground Wrestling Alliance.
Now you also got a chance to work for Zona, correct?
Yes, correct.
How was your experience down there?
See, everybody asks about it. It's so funny because that was like a year ago now. A year ago this month actually, and it's still one of the cooler shows I've done. Like, everybody talks about it and asks about it. The match was what it was. It was a 5-way international scramble clusterfuck gimmick. So the match is on Internet Wrestling TV, whatever. And it's what it is. It is what it is. But the trip was super fun. The promoter was great. The crowd was amazing. The crowd was amazing. Let me re-emphasize that. Just everything about it was super fun. Like, even if the match wasn't like 5-star, like, I'm gonna show this to everybody and it's the greatest thing that's ever happened to me type stuff. The show in general and the experience was so worth it.
Now, obviously, Zona's in Mexico, and I always have to give a shout out to my favorite Mexican, who is like my brother, from a Mexican mother, which I have not met. That's not my fault. That's Chewy Martinez's fault. But I love my brother Chewy. I gave this man a whole pond one day to do whatever he wanted to do. Good guy. I love him. Like, you know, I live in the damn South, and you know, with all this bullshit going on, every white guy's racist right now. That's just the way it is. But every time someone says that which they don't, they really don't. But if anyone would ever say I was racist, I'd have them call up Chewy Martinez. I'd have them call up Tony Badeo, which Tony Badeo is a former colleague of mine. He's black. But trust me, I trust this guy, and I have more faith in this guy than 10% of my white friends. So, you know, it's just one of those things. I try not to get political, but this is just one of those things that does eat at me right now. But, you know.
And that's the big thing. I've met Chewy before. I've worked with Chewy before. And he's great people. And I'll take his word over yours. If he says somebody's solid, then more than likely I'm like, okay, this dude's solid then. Whatever. It is what it is.
Yeah.
But in the state of the current United States, it is what it is. If anybody follows me on Facebook or whatever, they know my stance on it, so I'm not even going to get into that. Yeah, I'm black. You probably figure out my stance on it. But that doesn't mean I don't trust white people. None of that craziness. Just, I'm not going to deal with racism and craziness on my page, especially.
Yeah.
But not in my life either, so, you know.
See, I'm one of these people, like, everybody's got an opinion. Everybody has that freedom to have their opinion. Like, you know, I would still invite you on my show, like, if you were, you know, hey, I hate every white guy. Hey, I still want to do an interview with you, buddy. How you doing? You know, that's your freedom to do it. But, you know, I think Morgan Freeman said it the best. How to beat racism and how to end racism is not only to just quit talking about it, but for me to, like, when I'm talking to you, you know, do you know Phoenix Kid? Yeah, he's that black guy. For me, do you know Phoenix Kid? Yeah, man, it's a hell of a damn wrestler.
Right? And it's crazy, for me, and it's great that you said it like that, because so many times, and I did it when I first started jumping into death matches, you'll be like, somebody will be like, oh, are there any black deathmatch wrestlers? And I've seen this happen on Twitter a couple times, where some random black guy will be like, oh, are there any black deathmatch wrestlers? Like, why don't you see more African Americans in deathmatch wrestling? Blah, 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 whatever the case. And then somebody will tag me in it, and they'll be like, oh, well, this is only African American deathmatch wrestler I know. And then you'll have the guys like, I didn't even know there were black people doing death matches, or that's not our thing, or something crazy to that effect. And I'm just here like, alright, death match.
Well, see, and with honestly, with the state of events, the way things have been going, and like, I'm trying not to turn this into anything like, you know, anything racial. I'm just trying to, it's like right now, like how you brought it up, how they tagged you just randomly. You know, it's going to be like one day, just say next year, all of a sudden, like AJ or you, or, you know, like you said, there's not very many African American wrestlers, or deathmatch wrestlers. But the way things are going, like, if one of you would win next year, they would be, honestly, they'd be like, they let them win it because of the state of things. But they would never look at the talent that y'all displayed, or the dedication, or the time, or anything like that it took to get your name out there. Or you know what I'm saying? That's the way everything has became now, and it drives me fucking nuts. It really does.
Right, and it'll piss me off. Like, I know, and I've said it, it'll piss me off if somebody else takes it before I can. No African Americans won a deathmatch tournament. I'm the only one to ever make it to the finals of a tournament. Period. Point blank. There's no disputing it. People tried. They can't dispute it. And it'll piss me off if somebody pulls it before me. Like, no lie. it's not even out of jealousy or whatever. It'll piss me off because I've been saying for the last few years, this is my sole mission in life right now. So to not even get the opportunity to do it, it is frustrating a lot of times.
Yeah. And a lot of people right there would say, I know how you feel. Obviously, I don't know how you feel. I really don't, because I haven't been put in the situations you have. I don't know how you grew up, but I know the culture of what blacks. And I hate saying y'all, and I hate saying shit like that. To me, every time I say that, it sounds racist, and I hate saying it. I hate it, but
right.
I'm just.
But for all intents and purposes of the conversation, let's call it what it is.
Yeah, blacks. Obviously y'all. Besides like NBA and football and shit like that. Half the time, yeah, y'all are. And I really do hate saying y'all. I'm sorry, but I really do. I feel bad about it every time I damn say it. But it's like y'all are pushed aside. And I said it about Alabama football. This was over the last few seasons in Alabama. Crimson Tide, they never had a black quarterback ever, and it was always that way. And when they started recruiting some black quarterbacks down there, it was like they're not gonna let them start down there. And when they finally did, boom, it kind of broke the mold down there. But it's just always been, you can even say it, it's always been the tradition, and it's always been the culture that way. And if someone says, African Americans ain't talented, they're just fucking stupid, flat out. Like, you put my little white ass out there on the field, I'm going to get burned probably 10 out of 10 times. I know that.
Right.
And you put me on a soccer field with, and I'm saying it as just a person, Mexicans on a soccer field, I'm probably going to get burned 10 out of 10 times. It's the way it is. And for Americans to say, like the events that are happening right now, it's the way it is, it does suck. If a black guy has to get shot, like, what was it, 7 times, right?
Right, something to that effect. I don't even know the full story on that.
I'm just trying to get the number right. Like, I'm pretty keen on the story itself. I was just trying to get the number right. But
Right.
the 7 times, was the 7 times, should it have happened? No. Did the guy, like, reach for something? Yes, he did. But my thing was, why didn't they tase him first? Because they didn't do that. They should have tased him. Now, if he was reaching for something, yes. Maybe there should have been a shot, not 7. 7 was, that's just plain excessive. I understand the 1. But now, should it have been a fatal shot? No. Every cop should know a damn fatal shot compared to even what you call it, a warning shot.
Yeah, even then, like, I can't fully educatedly comment on it, because I don't know the story. I don't have the energy to follow it. I know there was some shots fired, guy, whatever. It takes a lot of energy. It takes a lot of energy to handle some of this stuff, and I don't know. It's easy for us on the sidelines to say, well, it should have been this, or we could have done this, or that could have been done, or whatever the case may be.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, we weren't there. We weren't in these people's heads. Yeah, that's kind of how I'm looking at it right now, until I know more.
Trust me, between all this stuff that's been going on was one of the reasons that I got off Facebook for a few weeks at one point, because I just got so tired of seeing all the racism on Facebook, and I was just like, I honestly, I just couldn't deal with it. Even seeing some of my friends, fight back and forth over it, I'm just like, it's just too much. And, it does irritate the shit out of me. Like, I know I'm white, and, shit ain't ever really happened to me. Now, I do drive a motorcycle, so sometimes I get profiled as a motorcycle driver, but, it's something that, yeah, I definitely feel. And, everybody should be free and shouldn't have to deal with that shit. And I'm sorry that it went to this on your interview. I really am. I do get sidetracked with this shit.
This is a real conversation here. This isn't just about wrestling. And I like having interviews where I don't have to just talk about wrestling, because I can tell you 50 times I've trained in Alaska and trained me and whatever.
Yeah.
And nobody wants to listen to that same interview, especially if you're someone who's actually following me and actually listening to these interviews. You don't want to hear that all the time. You know where I'm from. And if you don't, I'll gladly tell you that I was trained in Alaska and I'm fucking super bitter about it. And I don't really talk about it on interviews how I fucking hate it there.
Yeah. I can't picture Alaska. Like, I hate the cold. I just had a really good friend move to Maine, and he says it's cold there, and I'm pretty sure in Alaska it's probably about double cold there.
Not really. A lot of places in the lower 48 get a lot colder.
Yep. Damn. See, so let's go to. I got some names here I just want to shoot out to you, and you just give me your feelings on the person, if you know them, and if you want to give out the name for it. First one is the winner of the Angel of Death tournament, Aiden Blackheart.
I respect Aiden as a wrestler. There's no heat between us, but I did draw the ire of him when I with the whole Akira situation. And me and him did get into it for a hot minute. There was some, not really heat, there was a little bit of beef going on. I would gladly wrestle him, and we sort out our differences in the ring like we should.
Yeah.
In a professional, respectful way. We do what we gotta do. Let it be that. But I don't have any issue with him. I like him. I've had interactions with him, like in-person interactions with him, and they've always been fine. He's always been super helpful. He's still super helpful. Just that situation just kind of haywire. But yeah, he's a solid dude. He knows what he's doing.
Jeff the Hitman Hart.
See, I've only heard the name, and I've only heard him in interviews. So I can't. He sounds. I don't know. I've only the couple of interviews I heard him in. He wasn't painted in the best light. I'm just gonna say that.
Well, he sounds hideous. I'll tell you that.
Those MDK interviews are great. They're hilarious. If you haven't checked those out, they're fucking gold. They're a gold mine of material. But yeah, that guy, I'm gonna reserve my opinion until I know a little bit more.
See, I was supposed to have been on like the very first episode of the MD or the Death Hour with Kevin, and Kevin backed out for whatever reason. And the day before, was it the day before or the day of? Either way, I was supposed to download an app. I didn't know about the app situation for it. And yes, I know they said like the app was basically like 4 pictures big. You know, it wasn't a big app.
Right.
I eventually, and you know, obviously I couldn't download it because I do movies. Everybody that knows the John Rare Film page, I do movies and put them on my channel. I had a unproduced movie, a full fucking movie on my damn phone, and it wasn't uploaded yet. So I couldn't download that damn app. So everybody thought I backed out just because Kevin backed out, and a lot of people shit on me because of that, but whatever. I eventually was able to send the proof to, damn, what was the guy's name? He's the main guy on there. But
one of them.
Yeah, one of them. I sent him a video of my actual phone. You know, when I went to download the app, it said clear storage, blah 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 blah. You can't download it. So after that, you know, I think he finally believed me, and then they quit shitting on me. So.
Right. Deathmatch fans are great. They'll shit on anything. It's kind of hilarious.
So. Talking about that, I'm gonna put that on a name on here. The deathmatch fans and fans in general, have they killed wrestling more than wrestlers killing kayfabe?
It's a combination of the two. I mean, fans are fickle. Fans have always been fickle, man. They like what they like and they hate what they hate, and it's whatever. I've been seeing a lot of in the deathmatch groups. I follow them pretty close. What's hot, what's not. And they've been on it. Oh man, they've been on a tear lately, and it's almost ridiculous, but at the same time, some of it is so funny to me that it's just like I'm not even interested in what you guys are talking about, but I'm reading this because it's hilarious, and the fans are just going in on the weirdest stuff, and I'm just like, what are you guys doing? Case in point, what was the guy's name? The mailman guy. Shit.
Oh,
CW
Jimmy Lloyd.
Damn it! I'm sorry, Jimmy. I had a brain fart. Jimmy Lloyd, who is a solid dude. I've met him once. I like him. I've seen his work. I like his work. That's fine. He does scary ass shit. So whatever. We know the guy's fucking insane. And people are shitting on him because he didn't bleed in a death match. I'm just like, the fuck, bro? Like, I did a death match where I, like, barely got any blood. I didn't have any blood in it. And nobody never heard a word about it. I got stapled up, and I was in there. I was balls to the wall. And I'm sure Jimmy was going balls to the wall, too. Or as crazy as he felt comfortable going that night, which is his prerogative.
Yeah.
I'm not going to shit on the man because he didn't bleed. Okay, cool. Sometimes you do all this stuff and you just don't bleed. Like, your skin just doesn't want to open up.
And
it happens.
That's happened to me before. Like, you can ask Neil Diamond Cutter, Carnage Cup 7, our Exorcist death match. It was a bloody-ass match. But half the blood that was on me was from him for some fucking reason. Now, I had my shirt off. But
right.
It was what was that? An Exorcist death match. I barely had any blood or any cuts after falling on all that glass, getting hit by all that glass. That was one of those matches. Now, I was covered in blood, but it was his. So maybe people just really didn't realize it. But when we got to the back and I got cleaned off, I didn't have shit on me.
Right. And, like, the Blake dude, like, he called it for what it was, and he felt how he felt about it. And I thought that was hilarious. And this dude, not even a wrestler, he's kicked over because he said that. And he said how he felt. Was he out of place? Maybe. But I respect him for having the balls to say, hey, I didn't like this. But at the same time, I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like Jimmy got like you said, was unnecessary. It got a little too far, and it was kind of got unnecessary after a while. Man, if the man didn't bleed, that's just prerogative. If the match was good, then who cares? Really fucking cares.
I said it on the MDK Club, actually, where Blake Walden sadly was over more than half the damn deathmatch workers were right now. And to me, that was fucked up.
Right. I even said it where I was just like sarcastically, and I think some people took it the wrong way, but I was like legit making a joke about it. How is he the most over guy in deathmatch wrestling right now?
And
it's hilarious.
now, I know the COVID shit's going on, obviously. Like, we're still limited down here in the South what we can do. How are y'all operating over there right now?
Ain't too much happening in Texas, I'll tell you that much. Yeah, there ain't too much happening anywhere. Like, all the spots that I normally wrestle aren't running like that, so I'm happening to, like, randomly score shots here or there in random places, but yeah, it's rough right now.
And, that's basically the way it is here. Like, right now, you basically there's a few organizations that's constantly running, but, they run their guys, and you obviously have to be licensed by Alabama to run here, and you got to take a COVID test, I believe, before every show. So, that shit costs. And, obviously, indie wrestling don't pay great all the time, so, if you got to do all these licenses and all these tests before every show, it kind of don't pay, it don't pay off.
But I think you're not going to have not to mention, if I had to do a COVID test before every show, I'm not even going to put myself in that position. I'm just like, well, I'm not doing this.
And that's honestly, that's why, Kevin wanted so bad to do that Carnage Cup as quick as he could this year, but the Carrollton, where we did Angel of Death at, and Shoot Style Baby and Lethal Leap Year, because of COVID, they actually rented out that building for 2 years to like somebody else for like another project, whatever. So we couldn't even go back into that location now until probably like 2022. And that we thought we actually found a nice home there.
But that's like that one of those weird things in indie wrestling where you're like, you think you got a venue, and then next thing you know, they snatch it from under you, and you ain't got nothing. You're back to square one.
So right now, with all these people that are on the deathmatch scene, between Tremont, Gage, even classify Onita, put everybody's name in there. Murdoch. Who is the one person that you want to personally wrestle that you haven't got to wrestle?
Man, I haven't wrestled too many. Like, I haven't wrestled like a big name in deathmatch wrestling, and I want to. The big one for me right now is Casanova Valentine or fucking Valento Jack out in Japan. Those are my two big ones. Everybody else would be like, okay, cool, this is happening, and then not saying I wouldn't be any more happier with anybody else or whatever. Opportunity is an opportunity, but those are my two personal ones I want to do right now.
At Valento Jack, originally Kevin tried to book him, and I think like 2 people was going to come with him for Carnage Cup 10, but something didn't happen with it, so obviously they didn't get booked, or it just didn't happen, one of the two. I can't remember what that story was there, but I was excited about him just being on that show, period.
Right, and I've heard so many stories about how he's another guy who's insane and just kind of left Mexico to go to Japan, and next thing you know, he's a rock star out there now. He's doing his thing.
Because wasn't he recently on a GCW show like last year?
He might have been on one of the ones they did with Freedoms. That's his home spot right now. It's Freedoms.
Okay.
But he might have been on a GCW show by proxy of Freedoms, but I don't recall. Quite frankly.
See, I'm not I love deathmatch wrestling, but I don't have time. I personally don't have time to sit there and watch like all these different shows. I'd love to, but unfortunately, I got to work for a living. Bastards.
Right, and that's the thing. I follow a lot of deathmatch wrestling. Do I have time to watch every show and critique it? No, I don't. I really don't. Nor do I want to at this point in my life. I had to record something for the movie The Trade, and I literally just watched it for the first time, the movie, this past week, and I know it's been out for years now, as far as I know. It's great. It's a great movie. I watched it once, and from what I remember, it was a really good movie. It was solid. But yeah, I have other interests outside of wrestling, and even then, when I watch wrestling, I have a very specific thing, and I know what I want to watch at that point. What was I watching? I was watching a random ass Battle Arts tournament, 2011. It was random, and I was like, this is what I want to watch tonight, so this is what I'm gonna do. Yeah, GCW has some cool stuff. Everybody has their whatever, and I like what I like, man. Some people like the East Coast style of deathmatch wrestling. I like the West Coast style of deathmatch wrestling, which I don't think gets enough love.
It don't, honestly. Now, back in the day, I'll say maybe, let's go back maybe 8 years ago. Back in those days, I would hear from JD Horror, Sage Sin, Guido,
Yep.
and who was that other one? Mr. California.
Oh God.
I know. But those were the 4 names that were constantly always getting brought up, and they were obviously the West Coast guys. And, on my feed, I'd be seeing stuff from them constantly. And, yeah, Mr. California would usually have something negative with it. But those were the 4 names when you say Cali, especially the West Coast, those are the 4 names that pop up every time. And then, of course, Supreme. But, yeah, I say those 4 originally, those were the South guy or the Western guys. And yeah, you know, JD. I only got in the ring with JD one time ever, and you know that was smooth. So.
And let me ask you a question. Now I'm interviewing you. So when you honestly when you go and you look at deathmatch wrestling and you hear West Coast deathmatch wrestlers, who do you hear?
Like, yeah, you talking about like of all time?
Right now, like current.
Oh, right now, nobody. Like, there's no I can't say nobody.
Exactly. That's a fucking problem.
That's why I said like I had to go back some years to even talk about it because yeah, right now nobody. When you say Texas, the only two people I can this is just me right now. The only two people if you say Texas right now is Phoenix Kid and Chewy Martinez. I don't know anything else that's going on in Texas deathmatch wise.
Right? And check it out, because I lived on the West Coast for a little bit, and I'm from Texas. I live in Texas now. For me, and this is even as somebody being there, when I think of West Coast Deathmatch Wrestling, I think of Sage, think of Guido, think of BC Killer, Homeless Jimmy. Some people know, some people don't. XPW days.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the guys I think of off the top of my head. I know there's gonna be guys that I missed, and you're gonna be like, what the fuck? But that's the guys that pop off the top of my head without like really thinking into it. And then Texas, you got me, Chewy, Ruben Steele, who I still feel is vastly underrated, and Masada. Everybody forgets Masada lives in Texas.
Yeah, true. Yeah. Is he still doing death matches?
He does what he wants, man. That man. He does what he wants.
Yeah.
If he wants to do it, he'll do it. If he doesn't, he doesn't. I seen him do at least two last year.
But see, like like right now, if you want to say like, hey, who's the northern guy? Everybody's gonna pop off like fucking 20 damn names.
Right, even about names you have never heard of. You say who's the East Coast guy, you're gonna get the big eight and then some other people. Like, it's gonna get you're like a spattering name. Even if you say who's the Southern guys right now, who's the South guys right now, you're gonna get like a couple. You're gonna get mostly names you haven't heard, but you're gonna get some names.
Yeah.
Like you're gonna get more than 5 names out of it. And it's a very frustrating reality.
And you know what's bad is like some of the Southern guys, they're still around, but like you said, they don't get talked about. So if they don't get talked about, they're not really there.
Right.
And they can be out there busting their ass every week at, you know, that local hometown indie fed, but nobody talks about it. They're not there. And it's sad.
Right, and that's a frustrating thing for me that I deal with personally, because everyone's like, and I'm talking guys, like some of the bigger guys too have been like, oh, well, yeah, I've seen your work. I know of you, but because of where you are, you know, you're not getting seen. And you're like, you got to travel, you got to get out and travel. I'm like, I've been all up and down the West Coast. I've been to Mexico. I've been to Puerto Rico. Like, what the fuck, man? Like, look, I can travel as much as I want, but I got to get an opportunity has to come for me to travel.
Yeah.
You know? Like, I can say I'm down to go anywhere, wherever. I mean, if I haven't proven that by now, then I don't know what else I have to do besides, you know, take a box cutter and you know? But no, man, it's a frustrating thing. And then I'll hear it a lot from fans who, oh, you gotta come east, you should come east, or you should come to the Midwest, you should come to the Midwest. Which I hear you, want to, but you know, someone's gonna make it happen, or it's just a pipe dream. Or when people are like, oh, you're super underrated and you need to be seen more, and I appreciate it. Trust me, I hear you, and but I mean, I can sing this all day, but until I get the opportunity to go in and be like, hey, either you're gonna like what you see, and you're gonna wish you had booked me sooner, or you're gonna think I suck, and you're gonna tell me to fuck off, never hit you up again. You know, that I need that opportunity to go either way. Doesn't matter.
Yeah, like, you know, a lot of people said, one of the biggest rumors about me was I came straight out of the backyard into Carnage Cup 7. And, the people that actually look up my history and know my history, know that that's false. Because, like you said, I traveled, I jobbed, I did all this stuff for the indies, for years, literally, before I met Kevin. And, when I finally met Kevin, I did, one death match, which nobody really remembers my first death match ever. They remember me from Carnage Cup 7, when I used a box cutter to stab Spider Boudreaux. And then, then I got known. But they didn't know me before. They didn't know me years before that.
Right, and it's so funny because I remember when I did my first death match, I was against Drew Blood and for VOW, Vicious Outcast Wrestling in West Virginia. And everyone's like, okay, well, let's see what this guy does. Everybody's excited because, new deathmatch guy coming out. And I go out there, whatever happened, I got booked up. But it was a fun match. I still enjoy it. I watch it every now and then, just to kind of take studies and different things like that. I'll show people at work or whatever. But yeah, it was a fun match, and everybody's like super excited about it. It's like, okay, well, now let's see if anything else happens. And now when you hear a name, it comes with that conversation. Oh, that guy, that Black Deathmatch guy. And that's all it is, or that he's out west somewhere. A lot of them don't even know where the hell I'm at. And then some of the people would think I'm like in California or something. And I'm like, nope, I'm from California, you know what I mean?
And I want to tell you this, and this is just being for real with you, personally. If someone right now would be like, describe Phoenix Kid, I would not say, which I would probably have to say it for them to fucking understand, but I wouldn't say, hey, that black deathmatch wrestler. I'd say the deathmatch wrestler that wears the mask, the lucha gear. He looks like a lucha. Well, that's what I would fucking say, but it's not the way.
Even I jokingly, I'm like, oh, yeah, I'm not black deathmatch guy. I jokingly say it because it is what it is.
But I mean, honestly, that's probably what I'd have to fucking say. If I said what I said, they're gonna be like, and I'm like, he's also black. Oh yeah, that guy. I know what you're talking about.
Right, and it's so funny because I wear the mask. Anyone who's like followed my career, even followed some of my interviews, don't know I'm like the least luchador ever. And I say it jokingly, very jokingly. Because lucha was like one of the last wrestling styles I learned, and I didn't even learn it fully. Like I know like some basics to it, and I can work the right side if I really had to, but I'm gonna try to avoid it at all costs. I don't even like working straight lucha. Like I'll do it, and it's fun. Don't get me wrong, but I had to put like my preferences of what style of wrestling I want to work. Lucha is kind of in the middle for me. It's like okay, I'll do it, but I'd rather work a different style. And I think when I go to Tennessee in September, G Plus for Total Satisfaction Wrestling, I think everybody's expecting a lucha seminar, and it's not going to be that. It's going to be a very violent, possibly disgusting match, and that's what I plan to bring it. And it's like, what the hell? Where's this guy dead?
Like a lot of people, unless they followed me, previously, they didn't know that I wrestled under a mask called Vega for probably about a year and a half or so. Before that was before I did death matches. But the gimmick itself was he was Mexican. I went by El Vega, which was the Vega. Didn't make no sense. I didn't know no Spanish at all. So I would go out there and just mumble stuff. And people bought the shit. And that's what I did for a long time. And I got in the ring with like Action Mike Jackson, who recently was in TNA, Bull Buchanan. I got in the ring with some big name people by doing this really damn stupid gimmick.
Right, and it's like, and it's kind of weird because that's kind of how I've gotten my name out there by being that mass lucha dude that does some violent matches and probably be down for damn near anything. and I would like to see, I would like to show that more. I would like the opportunity to go out there and, you know, get more opportunities to do that kind of stuff and show what I can do, and not even just death matches. Lately, people have been forgetting that I do straight wrestling, and I did straight wrestling for 2 solid years before I even jumped into a death match, and I still do it now. I just did it this weekend. Matter of fact, that weekend. But yeah, a lot of people forget I can straight wrestle too, and it's kind of funny. It makes me laugh a little bit.
Well, I retired in November to get away from death matches and wrestling in general. And then, of course, I was back in February. Great retirement.
Right, dragged you right back in, alright?
Unfortunately, but this time it was, I can say I did it for the business because there was a no-show and I didn't want to disappoint the fans, which I didn't want to disappoint the fans that night. But, Peter B. Beautiful needed an opponent. They made all kinds of fucking crazy razor wire weapons that, nobody wanted to take. And obviously, razor wire's my thing, so I took it. So, I jumped back in the ring for that. But, I'm definitely looking forward. I've already announced before that Carnage Cup 12 will be my last death match ever. Whenever it happens, Kevin. But hopefully Kevin is listening, which I know he is. And we definitely whoop Phoenix Kid there. The crowd whoops him there too. And all the fans listening, I'm talking to you, Mason. Contact Kevin Brandon daily until he puts Phoenix Kid on Carnage Cup 12.
Yeah, see, that's the kind of stuff you gotta do, man. You gotta harass people, because I can only do so much. And my biggest thing, man, and I have this like really bizarre cult following where my name will pop up and stuff every now and then. And it's like, cool, yeah, somebody remembers about it and about this life. And then I kind of laugh about it and I kind of blow it off like, okay, well, we'll see what happens. and sometimes something comes out of it, sometimes stuff doesn't come out of it for whatever reason. Sometimes things just don't line up. Like, okay, well, I'm not gonna push this because it's not gonna work for me. But I'm hoping something happens. Carnage Cup would be a terrible thing to do. That'd be super dope. Just anything, really, honestly. I want to go more east. I want to go more Midwest. I'll go to the South. Whatever's available at this point. That's the big thing. Going east of the Mississippi. Once COVID kind of clears up, things are a little bit more free to move around, different things like that. But man, definitely hit Kevin up. Let him know you want me in Carnage Cup. That's the main way they're gonna get me in. Let them know you're buying tickets to see me. God damn it, they didn't buy my merch whenever I decided to make merch.
See, I'm going to get on this subject just for a minute before we have your final words and call it quits for tonight. But, people's always had negative stuff to say about Kevin. And my true defense is, I've known him for damn years. I've known that dude for almost, probably over 10 years now. But if Kevin Brandon was gay, and I do not have problems with gay people, don't get it twisted here, people. I'm saying that right now. If Kevin Brandon himself was gay, he would get with Freight Train. And I'm just saying it right now. That dude loves Freight Train beyond anything I've ever seen in my life. Like, he's obsessed with Freight Train. Like, the dude loves Freight Train. And if he was swinging for the other team, which is fine, I always got to clarify, because somebody's going to try to get my shit twisted.
Right, you just be on your MDK for the long reasons in a few minutes.
Yeah. Rare's a mega, what do you call it? Gay,
he's a homophobe.
Homophobe, yeah. He's a major homophobe.
Oh, and Phoenix Kid supports it and thought it was funny. This is going to turn into a big shit show.
But you know what? I support Blake 100%. I like his voice. One day, I'll let him come over and drink my liquor.
Right. He does what he does. He feels how he feels. Everybody has their opinion. Everybody's going to whine and complain about something. Who cares? At the end of the day, man, if you didn't like it, you didn't like it. I'm not going to sit here and tell the foolish you don't like it. I don't care. I really don't care. But that's how you feel. You didn't like the show, or you didn't like somebody's lead, or whatever. And Whatever.
You know, this is honestly the way I am, and I am this way. I would prefer if you had a problem with me, you told me, I don't care if you tell me on the internet or tell me to my face. Tell me you don't like me. Don't act and sit behind me and say, oh, John Rear's awesome, and then, go on another page that you don't think I'm on and be like, fuck John Rear, I don't get his gimmick, or I don't get him, and, blah, blah, blah. Because trust me, I've had fans do that down here.
But, I feel the same way, and there's a fan out in Mexico who fucking hates me. Like, every time I comment on why you still wrestling? You're wrestling. Isn't Don Suffer? Or if I get an announcer or something, they'll be like, oh, well, no, not him. Why him? And I'm just like, I don't know what your beef is, bro, but you aren't lacing my boots, man, or lacing my shoes, or whatever the hell I'm wearing that night. But you don't like me, cool, that's great. I really should laugh, bro. Like, for the one person that doesn't like me, there's like 5 or 6 people that love me and want to see me get out of me more. And every time I wrestle, I just go out there and make me look stupid. I don't have to cut a promo on the show to let you know that I see you and it's my little black ass.
Well, Phoenix, do you have any final words you want to shoot to the fans before we let you go?
That dude in Mexico, I can't remember his name right now, but I just really do on him. It's my whole ass. But no, all I gotta say is, don't use the buddy system. Fuck you, American Giant. This has been great. Follow my page. I say stuff. I do stuff. I probably forgot to plug what my Twitter actually is, but fuck it, I'm too lazy to plug it. Phoenix Kid CFR. That's my Instagram. That's my Twitter. Phoenix Kid on Facebook. Fuck all y'all. Y'all great. Yeah, let's go kill stuff. Party! Woo!
You heard him. Fuck all of y'all. Go party. Whoop whoop. I don't think he said whoop whoop. I said whoop whoop. That's ICP stuff. What up, Corp? But thank you yet again. Hopefully you fans like it. Don't forget to hit the like, subscribe button, and if you want to be notified anytime I upload a new video, hit that bell.